In many ways, we are in uncharted territory, especially with schools being closed for the year. I know it's been a new experience for me being a stay at home mom, mayor, and teacher. Right now, kids can't go to school or a playground or to the movies or even to a friend's house to play. Team sports have been canceled. So, how do we keep them on track academically, physically, and socially? Here to give us some answers is Dr. Betty Harmon, a board certified pediatrician with More Pediatrics. Thank you for joining us today, Dr. Harmon.
My pleasure.
So, Dr. Harmon, the cabin fever is real. There are some days where it's 2 o'clock and I realize my kid's still running around in his underwear, and I know I'm not the only one. So, how can we help kids get through this time when they have no choice but to stay home?
Well, I think it's important that we keep kids on a schedule, have a routine for them, have a time that they get up in the morning, get dressed, get their daily care taken care of, eat breakfast. And once all of those things are taken care of, then have somewhat of an assigned time for them to do their academics. Yes, parents are the teachers. So have a time where we sit down, have a place where we sit down, and so they won't be distracted too much and get that work done. Younger children, they have a shorter attention span, so you may have to kind of break that up several times during the day. About 20 to 30-minute intervals with about a 5 to 10 minute break in between things. Schedule a time for lunch and other breaks and activities through that academic time frame that you are trying to do. It's important
And
also that you sit down in the evening and eat dinner together so you can discuss kind of what went on through the day and maybe what kind of their thoughts are on what's going on right now.
I know our family, when we sit down for dinner, we always ask, what was the best part of your day? And what was the most challenging part of your day? And so it's just a fun conversation topic that I'm often surprised by what they throw out there. But you're right. I think it's important to have those family meals and keep a healthy routine for conversation and all that fun stuff. But on top of the academics and the personal relationships within the family, in terms of physical activity, right now, there's no soccer, there's no baseball, there's no softball, there's no gymnastics, there's not a lot in terms of organized sports. Playing outside with friends isn't an option. The weather, as we've seen today, has been hit and miss. So kids are inside a lot. Could this raise the risk of obesity in some kids?
Absolutely, it could. It can. Yes, it can do that. And we know when kids are not in school that they tend to be less active, their activity levels go down, and they tend to snack and eat more. So it's important that we be creative with the activities that they do. You might create a list of things that you want them to do and pick from that. In addition to that, it's important that they have healthy snacks, yogurt, vegetables, fresh vegetables, and fruits throughout the day so that they're not snacking as much on chips and cookies and soda and things like that.
I know that we've been going on walks more than I think ever before, which, judging by the amount of my neighbors that I've seen out for the first time, everyone has kind of been accepting that approach. And I know my dog is sure enjoying all of the walks as well. So, how do you get the kids to stay active when their options are so limited? So, on top of diet, what kind of physical activity would you recommend in kind of a home setting? And how much physical activity do they actually need?
At a minimum, we want to try to do about an hour a day. Throughout the day, you may break that up into a couple of sessions, but about an hour a day. If you can get outside, do the things that you just talked about, walks and the bikes, bike riding. But you can also do some inside things. There are some online sites where it's some family exercise programs that are kind of fun for kids. Those kind of things. You may not be able to get outside because of the weather like it is today, but dance party and things like that where you can have fun as a family inside.
I love that. We're always up for a good dance party in the Clark household. But the pandemic has really hammered home the importance of hand washing, not sharing food and drinks, and other ways we pass on germs. My 6-year-old is very much like 6 feet away, and don't kiss me on the face, mommy. And I'm like, well, I think I get a pass on that one. But how can we teach kids about infection prevention in a way that they'll understand?
Well, it is important that they understand that we need to distance ourselves from people that are sick. But in the home, I think one of the most important things is to make sure that they are washing their hands. Make sure they are taking the time to do it properly, taking 20 seconds to wash and wipe the hands off. And children may not know what that 20 seconds is, but if they would sing the happy birthday song about twice, that'll give them about 20 seconds so that they can have an adequate washing. We also need to tell them about be careful about touching their face, their eyes, nose, and mouth. If they are touching, again, instruct them to go wash their hands. If they're coughing or sneezing, something that they need to do would be to cough or sneeze into the elbow. Therefore, they're not spreading those germs. So it's real important that we do that. And even the surfaces where they're doing their work, the countertops or tabletops or desks, where they are working, make sure we are wiping those down several times a day, and the doorknobs.
Okay. Well, kids react to stress and anxiety a little bit differently than we do. So, what are some signs that our children are starting to struggle with all of the new rules and changes and new routines? And then, how can we address it?
Children have various ways of changing behaviors. They may become more saddened because they can't get out, or angry because of what's going on. They may do some nail biting. Um, you may see that they are becoming more defiant, having sleeping issues, bedwetting issues, changes in behavior in general is some things you may see. And if you are seeing these signs that the children are stressed or having more anxiety, well, it's important for us to identify those things. And as a parent, let's make sure we stay calm when we're talking to them, and also to other adults about what's going on in our nation with the pandemic. Because if we are showing stress and anxiety about what is going on, a lot of times that feeds into our children, because we are supposed to be reassuring to them. And if they see us stressed as a parent, then they might also take on that stress and anxiety. So talking to them, understanding what they are understanding about what's going on. If we are seeing negative behavior, sometimes we might have to be a little bit more lenient with them. And then also praise the positive behaviors, because I think that's important. When we praise the positive behaviors, we reinforce those things that we want to see. So that's important. If
Okay.
you, Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I've also heard suggestions for the children old enough to do it, some sort of journaling. Journaling is recommended, I think, for adults as well to help process feelings, but it could be kind of a neat keepsake as they capture their thoughts about what's truly and hopefully a once in a lifetime experience. Have you heard any suggestions on that?
Absolutely. Journaling is a great way of doing that. And it may be interesting to see what children do write about, because they will put in their writing more about what their understanding of what's going on and their feelings. It is also a way to release stressors also. So that's a great idea.
Okay. Well, is there anything else you wanted to add, Dr. Harmon?
Well, if you feel that your kids are being stressed or are stressed and they seem to be getting overwhelmed with what's going on, do feel free to call our offices, because this is a very stressful time for parents as well as for children. Reach out to your pediatrician or your primary care physician for the adults, and do call our offices. We're being creative with how we are now scheduling to try to keep everybody safe. So Come on in if you need to see us and you have issues and problems. If you have children that are less than 2, make sure that you continue their preventive health care and get those immunizations that they are in need of. Let's not neglect their health at this point.
No, that
Thank
is a great tip. Thank you for that. My kids are March and April, and we've kind of missed their appointments for their annual checkups. So we'll be scheduling those as soon as it's safe to do so, definitely. So, Dr. Harmon, this has been so helpful for all of the parents out there. I really appreciate your time today. And thank you all for watching. Please like and share this video so people in your own circle of friends and loved ones can get this helpful information as well. Have a great day. Be safe, everyone.